Hey guys, welcome back to another Hypermobile Friendly Workout. I have not taught one of these videos in a very long time, so I am excited to take you through some fascial and trigger point release today. So for those of you who may not be aware, fascial and trigger point release are basically fancy terms for a way to do self-massage and to mobilize tissue that may have gotten really tight in your body because of compensation patterns, because of your body reacting to pain signals. Now, I know what a lot of you guys are probably thinking. You're like, well, no, I am hypermobile. I don't get tight. But you may or may not already be aware that with hypermobility, there's a really big spectrum, right? So there are one end of the spectrum where you've got people who are super loosey-goosey and everything's really bendy and flexible, and they kind of your more like stereotypical vision of what people think hypermobility is. But then you've got this whole other side of the spectrum, which is people like me who have hypermobile joints. So my joints still have this great range of motion, but my tissue, my muscles, my fascia, everything else in between has actually gotten really tight as a reaction to trying to hold my body together. So this type of mobility work and this type of release work can actually be really helpful in alleviating that tension so that I can move the tissue effectively again and then once again restore better alignment to my joints. So this is a technique that I do pretty much every day. I do it on different parts of my body every single day, and we are going to start with one of my favorite places to do, which is the hips. For those of you who are on my end of the spectrum and feeling very, very tense on any given day, like I said, we're gonna start in the hips. So I'd encourage you to grab a ball. I'm using kind of a medium density tennis ball. It's just a prop that I like to use. You may find something softer or harder works better for you. And your glute muscles are comprised of three major muscles. And of course, all the little like connective and internal pelvic muscles that make up this area as well. But we're gonna focus on kind of the three main connective ones, which are glute med, glute max, and glute min. Most effectively, I think hypermobile people experience tension through the glute min, which is slightly more to the side. So what I want you guys to do is find that big bony part of your pelvis, and you want to be below the big bony part of your pelvis. You want to be on like the meaty part of your butt. You're going to take the ball, find a meaty part of your butt, and just slowly start to lean into that space. And what we're looking for here, guys, is a space that kind of makes you go, woo, makes you go, yikes. We are not looking for a space that causes you extreme pain, okay? So if you're feeling sparks, if you're feeling nerviness or sass, back off it for me and come back to this another day. Because we're looking for tissue that's kind of like that, soreness as one would think about it. And I recognize this is a tall order because sometimes it can be really difficult to distinguish between pain signals. But so I really encourage you to just kind of figure out, see if you find that space that's like a little bit sore, a little tender. Oh, yep, I found one. And just hang out there for a minute and just like breathe. And ideally, in the next 60-ish to 90-ish seconds, you're gonna feel that space start to alleviate. I can already feel this tissue starting to go like, oh. And it's not gonna be as intense in a moment. And we just hang out and chill. And do your best, I've just noticed I was locking out my own elbow. Do your best not to hyperlock other joints to make this possible. I'm gonna come down here. Make sound effects, feel free to curse. When I've taught this to people in session, I'm gonna shift really almost to like the side of my hip right now. I'm not on bone. I'm not on the pelvic bone, I'm not on the thigh bone, I'm still just in that kind of meaty part of the muscle. But I have been lovingly cursed out teaching people to do this in session before, so feel free. Oh, good, and and just breathe. And so the big rule of thumb here, guys, is obviously if you're feeling the not good kind of pain, if you're feeling the negative sort of like nervy pain, back off. Additionally, we want to avoid bone for 2 reasons. First of all, it's not going to be very comfortable. It's bone. Second of all, it's not going to benefit you really. So, oh goodness me, I'm going to spend maybe 1 more minute on this side. And then after we do the release work, it's really important to restabilize as well. So we're not just gonna release, and then walk away from everything. We are going to release things and then reactivate and restabilize them. Alrighty. Hopefully you guys are feeling good. If you're working through something, you're like, oh my God, I need 60 more seconds. Feel free to pause. But I'm gonna encourage you guys to just like come on up to seated if you wanna. Take a little walk around the room or take a little shimmy. You may find now that like one hip feels like, whoa, that is dropped or that is chill, and now the other one feels really tight. Well, let's do the other side, shall we? So this hip, this left side, has had way more damage in its life that's my point. I much more easily find trigger points and tension in this side because this has had a lot more damage done to it. So I didn't have to look very hard. I just kind of popped the ball somewhere under the meaty part of my butt. This was necessary today, guys. This was necessary. And I want to make sure I encourage you, like, this should not be, it's unpleasant in that hurts so good kind of way. This should not be an unpleasant experience. In fact, you don't even necessarily always need to be finding pain points. You can also just do this and if any of the tissue feels like mildly tense, or even just like it's not moving, like the tissue isn't moving very well, you can pop a tennis ball in there and back off of it so much that it's just like a little a very soft release. Oh my goodness, because everyone's got different pain thresholds, and this should not be like a painful experience. This should feel beneficial. I'm going to come down onto my elbow as I start to shift a little bit more to my side hip. My side hips are really where it's at today. Yep. And there's a whole like big connection kind of at this side part of the hip that just leads all the way down to the ankle. So it makes sense. It's got a lot of responsibility. I'm going to continue to follow this through. Oh, okay, yeah, I'm going to hang out here for a moment. And make some adjustments. Yeah, that feels better. And I still want you guys to feel supported and stable, okay? This should not feel like you're hanging out of your limbs at any point. I know sometimes I can do this and I'll get like a little acrobatic, but you don't need to do that. And just breathe. Think happy thoughts here, guys. I'm filming this the week of Thanksgiving, so hopefully you guys have lots of fun Thanksgiving plans. Woo, all right, I'm gonna give this 10 more seconds. I don't know when I film on my laptop now. I keep getting those like thumbs up, thumbs down things. Maybe because it knows I'm torturing myself and I'm torturing you guys. Oh, okay. I am going to come on up, so I stop writhing and making all sorts of weird noises, and just see how your hips feel for a second. A little Shakira action going on. Nice. Okay. Hopefully you're feeling good. Like I mentioned, this is something that we can't just go release. Got to do a little bit of reactivation. So the nice thing is, it's a very simple exercise I like to use, which we've seen in many a video. We're going to come down to a side lying, it's like a little clamshell series. And in order to reactivate effectively, you can use a pillow for yourself. I don't have one with me, so I'm just going to use my arm. Stack the heels, stack the knees, get everything nice and linear. And you are just going to lift that top knee up. Feel that connection into the hip joint. So we've talked about this before. Feel your thigh bone going into your hip socket. Now some of you guys, I know I am, might be like, whoa, this feels very different than it normally does. Maybe you feel like you're getting more range. Maybe you feel like you're a little more connected to the glutes. That is awesome. We want that. I know for me, this looks really small, but my glutes have been very chatty recently, so I haven't been able to get tons of range. This is actually really good for me. I'm gonna go 2 more. You're also welcome to lay a hand on top of your leg if you need just like a little bit more spatial feedback. 1 more. And then we're gonna reverse course. You're gonna keep your knees glued. You're just gonna lift that top foot. And I want you guys to still try and feel this from your bum, okay? I know that's a tall ask. Woo. And again, see if we can feel it from the bum. Good, let's go 3 more. And 2. And 1. And relax. All right, guys, we're gonna swing right over to the other side. Come on down. Heels together. Abdominals lift. And just getting everything nice and mobile. Once again, feeling that thigh bone connect into the hip bone. It's like that old song, right? The thigh bone's connected to the hip bone. Can't remember what comes after that. Hip bone's connected to the spinal cord. Good. Let's go 3 more. 2. 1 more. That feels good. All right, inner thighs are gonna stay active and squeeze. Try to still feel your bum. And lower. And lift. And lower. And again, let's lift. And lower. Exhale. Let's go 3. A little sassier on this side. 2. And 1. Go, 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 go. Nice. Alrighty. Take your time coming up to seated here, guys. Reorient yourself. See how your hips are feeling. Hopefully good. Hopefully a little bit softer than they were before, but still just like active and supporting your body. I would love to hear your feedback on this type of class. I don't often incorporate release work on this channel, despite it being something that I do often. So if you are curious to have more classes or learn how to do different parts of your body, please let me know, because I just have no idea if this is something you guys would want to see more of. So in the meantime, thank you guys for joining me. I hope your hips feel great, and I will see you guys in the next video.